Hello everyone, my name is Cameron and welcome back to the channel, and today is a very fun day because today marks the very first things I want to see in WWE 2K19. And I know it's only January and a lot of you are probably like, but Cameron, it only came out in October, you can't really judge it right now. Guys, I've had the game since October, I got it when it came out. I have every DLC, I have everything for that game, and I can judge it fully right now. As is, because I have completed the career mode up to WrestleMania, and I've seen what happens after WrestleMania thanks to Dank Ops. So, at this point in time, plus I play Universe mode, I do a lot of different things with a lot of the things, so I know fully well how well I can judge this game, and trust me, it may have only came out in October, and it may only be January of 2018, but trust me, it is about time to judge this game. Now, I've been judging this game, if you guys have been watching my series for this, basically since it came out, because there were some things I already didn't like when the game came out, and over time, my grudges for that game just kind of got more and more real, and I started to realize them more and more throughout the career mode especially. So a lot of this is actually not to do with career mode, a lot of this is to do with Universe mode, because Universe mode is a series I've wanted to bring to the channel, but being by myself is boring. I don't want to do a Universe mode by myself because I'm running both brands, and it just seems boring to me. I want to be able to run two different brands, but a lot of things with Universe mode still need to be set up in a way where it's easier for people who don't have as much help or don't have as much knowledge with storytelling, I guess. So here we go. By the way, that's all I have. So I have about 2 pages worth of this, so we're going to be talking a lot. Alright, first things first, better Universe mode, more like the Raw vs. SmackDown games. Now, if you guys ever played the Raw vs. SmackDown games, and if you never did, I highly suggest you could play them if you can find a copy and you want to actually experience what the GM modes in those were like. It was a lot of fun. There was a lot of fun things you could do in that game that I miss doing. You could like customize your own office, you could have your own kind of GM and stuff, you could set up everything you wanted, and I really enjoyed that aspect of the game, and it's something I'd really love for them to bring to this game, to the new game, to 2K19, because the fact of the matter is that having a better Universe mode where you can actually choose your authority figures, you can do a lot of these different things, and you can have it more like the old games, which I used to enjoy, not even kidding. Me, my brother, and my uncle once did SmackDown, Raw, and ECW. My uncle was Raw, I was SmackDown, my brother was ECW. We always kind of fit into that exact way. I have always loved SmackDown the most. Jesse's always loved Raw the most. Damon always loved ECW. But when ECW went under, he kind of went over towards Raw as well with Jesse. So, I would love for them to bring that back because, one, it actually had a draft at the start of every year, so that way you could actually redraft your superstars. Now, obviously, champions, I believe, were actually immune. I can't fully remember because it's been a while. I could still actually play that game if I wanted to. I do still have a copy of Raw vs. SmackDown 2007 for my PS2. I just choose not to play it because I don't want to have to go back and watch and look at the shitty graphics, which back then were fantastic, don't get me wrong, but I just don't want to have to go back and relive it and kind of ruin the nostalgia for myself and ruin the fun of the game I used to remember. But having that kind of option where you can do the draft every year and storylines get better set up and all that, I would love it. Obviously, with the Universe mode, the way they've been doing, they're trying to get it back to that point where it's really good, but I feel like it's still so far off. Next, Women's Royal Rumble matches. With the announcement of the very first Women's Royal Rumble coming this Sunday at Royal Rumble, the 30th anniversary of the Royal, or 31st edition of the Royal Rumble, sorry. I'm very excited for it. I'm honestly excited, and it's something I've always wanted to do. I've always wanted to do like a 10-woman Royal Rumble at the least. You cannot do a single Royal Rumble. The reason we come to the games is to do things we can't see in real life. Royal Rumble matches with women, mixed tag matches, that sort of thing. But we can't do that in these games. And that's what's always bugged me. Like, it's like, I'm trying to make things that you can't do in real life, but you're limiting me because of things that have only happened in real life. You can't do things in the game that haven't happened in real life. So the fact that the first ever Women's Royal Rumble is happening, I'm kind of excited and hoping that very soon we will see Women's Royal Rumble matches in the video games. Next, mixed tag matches. Now, I believe this used to be a feature in older games, and I've missed this feature very heavily, but with the Mixed Match Challenge, it seems like they're leaning towards men and women facing men and women, tag teams again, which I'm I'm very excited for. Those are always some of my favorite matches growing up. And the fact of the matter is that I have a massive idea for something that I want to do inside of 2K19 if they do add mixed match tag team matches, where basically I want to just go in and grab a bunch of married couples in the game and have them go through a tournament. I would most likely be playing as Rusev and Lana because it's Rusev Day, motherfuckers. It's Rusev Day. Oh, I feel like I'm going to burp. Oh, excuse me. Okay. So I thought that would be a really fun idea, especially since they're doing mixed match tag team challenge, which I would really love. You know, I would love for the fact that, hey, we could actually do this challenge. It would be awesome. Or we could actually do mixed match matches, mixed tag matches, and I would love it so, so much because it gives you the option of, you know, actually going in and playing those types of matches, and it'd be kind of cool. Especially if they add in, like, I don't know, a trophy or a tag team championship thing for them. I think that would be awesome. Next, returns of some of the greats, including the Dudley Boys, the New Age Outlaws, X-Pac, Chyna, Kelly Kelly, and Michelle McCool, along with a lot of the other people that popped up at the 25th anniversary show of Raw. It seems like they're trying to let what Chyna did in her past outside of the WWE not really affect what she did inside the WWE ring, which I really, really love. I really hope that she comes back to this game because it seems like they're trying to put that all under the bridge, all that stuff. X-Pac, because it's X-Pac and he's fantastic. New Age Outlaws, same reason. Dudley's, same reason. They all popped up at... same with Kelly Kelly and Michelle McCool. They all popped up at Raw 25, so it kind of seems like they're trying to get some more people into the next year's game. More versions of certain superstars, including Evolution versions of Flair, Triple H, Orton, and Batista. And by this, I mean versions of them that actually were there during Evolution. You know, the way Flair looked, the way Triple H looked, the way Batista looked, the way Orton looked. All of that. That's what I want because that was different than just making Evolution. Making Evolution with what you can, you know, with the 91 Flair, the 01 Triple H, Batista, and then Orton is so much different than actually getting to see the versions of them that were actually in Evolution be in your game making up Evolution. So I'm kind of hoping that they end up doing that. Full DX versions of HBK and Triple H. What do I mean by this? I mean in the full fucking DX attire, not Shawn Michaels in his red and gray and black, and then Triple H in just green and black and in green and black tights. I want the shirts, the pants, the hats, everything. I want them to actually be coming out with the glow sticks, doing the suck it and all that, because that's what DX is, and it bugs me that they don't have those versions, like full-on DX versions, and not just like the original versions of DX, like way back when. No, give us the 2005, 2006 reboot of DX as well, where they were pulling all the pranks and dropping shit on Vince and Shane in the Spirit Squad. Next, Edge and Christian tag team versions. Now, what do I mean by this? If you guys don't know, Edge and Christian were a fantastic tag team for a very, very long time. They were in the Brotherhood. Wait, no, that's not right. The Brood. Why was I thinking Brotherhood? Thinking of Assassin's Creed, sorry. They were in the Brood with Gangrel, which obviously Gangrel won't probably be in this game, which kind of sucks. I'd love to have him, though. But having Edge and Christian tag versions, you know, their early Attitude Era stuff with the 5-second poses, the kazoos, the weird glasses, the weird shirts, all of that, and plus a Brood version would be fantastic. For one, because Edge and Christian are a fantastic tag team, and no one should ever forget that Edge and Christian were a goddamn fucking tag team because they were fantastic. And two, because Edge and Christian were goddamn fantastic. Like, have you ever seen one of their tag matches? They were just... yeah, I mean, they helped create the TLC matches. One of my favorite matches of all time is the TLC matches. And seeing the fact that Edge and Christian aren't tag teams, aren't formal tag teams in these games, pisses me off. So having tag versions of them would be fantastic, in my opinion, with the full entrance, the kazoos, the 5-second poses, everything. Ted DiBiase and Lana as wrestlers. Now, if you guys don't know, Ted DiBiase at one point was actually a wrestler. Hell, you can even have Virgil in this game, have him as a wrestler, or just have him as a manager. Who fucking cares? And Lana, obviously, everyone knows that she's a wrestler at this point, and I think she's a freaking pretty damn good wrestler. But it's bullshit that she wasn't added as a playable... as a wrestler this year, as a superstar that you could play as, just as a manager. Ted DiBiase was more known as a manager, but it'd still be kind of cool to be able to play as Ted DiBiase because Ted DiBiase is fucking fantastic. So yeah. So yeah, I would really hope that they would make these a few of the people that are in the manager slots playable for us. Brian Pillman back, as well as Hollywood Blondes Austin. Now, if you don't know what I mean, back in WCW, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I don't remember what his name was. I think it was back when he was stunning Steve Austin. And Flying Brian Pillman, before he became the Loose Cannon Brian Pillman, were a very amazing tag team known as the Hollywood Blondes. So if you go in, like, your create a tag team thing and you see the Hollywood Blondes as a name, that was them. They were fantastic. I don't know why Pillman was left out of this game. I think from what I heard, it was something to do with his widow. She didn't want him in the games anymore. I can't remember for sure, but that was the rumor I heard. But come on, Pillman needs to be in these games. He's fantastic. He's as much a part of WWE as Stone Cold is, and their work together was fantastic. Choices of authority in Universe Mode. I actually have a bit of a part down at the bottom that I'll talk about this a bit more. Now, what I mean by this is actually having an authority figures set up in your show. First off, let us create somebody who's going to be like the guy running our brand. Now, again, with Raw and SmackDown going head-to-head, you can even make them have completely separate brands where Raw doesn't show up on SmackDown and SmackDown doesn't show up on Raw. The only time they meet is the big 4 pay-per-views. So you could create yourself your guy leading the brand. So me and Jessica can create ourselves. And then we have a commissioner who we can pick from a different choice of people. And then we could have a GM who would also pick from a different choice of people. And I'll get back to that in a moment down in a few points. Big 4 pay-per-views in Universe Mode having more than 7 matches. If you guys are like me and you do a brand split pay-per-view, you know that when you get to WrestleMania, Survivor Series, SummerSlam, and the Royal Rumble, you have 7 matches. Now, you know, in real life, obviously, they have a lot more matches than this. Plus, they have pre-shows, which would also be a nice touch. You could have a pre-show set up, so that way any matches you can't have on the main card, you could end up having on the pre-show. Now, Survivor Series, you could obviously do champions versus champions the entire time with a few matches thrown in, plus the actual traditional Survivor Series match, which I actually forgot to mention that. Actually having a 5-on-5 traditional Survivor Series match. Like, come on. It's not that hard to think of that. But yeah, I think that would be a fantastic idea if they actually added it to where the Big 4 had more matches. That's why they are the Big 4. They're supposed to have more matches. Also, having the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal automatically at WrestleMania every year. Hell, that could even be on the pre-show. I don't really fucking care. Just have these things in this game for better management of your pay-per-views, especially. Have the option of, hey, do you want to go over 7 matches with this pay-per-view? Because if you do, click here and you can set up all your matches that you want. One, means you can do more feuds per month. 2, it means you can have a better looking pay-per-view if you do it for YouTube. And 3, come on, it's fucking realistic as hell. I'll show you. I don't have anything else from the past few months, but I remember Survivor Series having a pretty big card. But currently, if you're wondering, Royal Rumble is sitting at 8. Well, okay, technically now it's at 6 matches because the United States Championship match is gone, and at the moment so is the Cruiserweight Championship. So currently it's sitting at 6 matches instead of 8. But Royal Rumble is Sunday, and they're probably going to add a few more matches. 1 pre-show matches, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I definitely think that they should add in 1, a pre-show, and 2, making it possible for pay-per-views to have more than 7 goddamn matches. To a lesser extent, making it to where the main shows like Raw and SmackDown could have more than 7 matches as well. Option for CPU-controlled shows for single-player universe mode. So let's say you play it by yourself and you don't want to have to control both brands. You don't have to do all this stuff. Well, have a CPU control that one while you control the brand you want to control. So let's say you want to control SmackDown, but you don't also have to control Raw and run all of that. So you set a CPU. Let's say Daniel Bryan is the manager for that. I know never going to happen, but I'm just making a point. Let's say Daniel Bryan is the manager for Raw, and you choose Kurt Angle as the manager for SmackDown, and you do the work for SmackDown with Kurt Angle. Daniel Bryan, controlled by the CPU, does work for Raw. I think it'd be a fantastic option because if you want to do it for YouTube, then you can actually do a single-player one where you don't have to do every single thing on every single show. Now, you can still go in and watch the matches and play the matches if you want, but you don't have to set them up every single week if you play by yourself, which I think would be fantastic. Drafts as well as... Oh, God, that feels good. Scratch my leg. as well as full setup pay-per-views for brand split. Now, if you don't know what I mean by that, the way the brand split right now is kind of weird because it seems like heading towards WrestleMania, it's a flip-flop. You know, it's Royal Rumble, SmackDown's a pay-per-view, Raw's a pay-per-view in 2 separate months. And then WrestleMania happens, SmackDown, Raw, and then both have pay-per-views again until about Survivor Series. Or until about SummerSlam. And then it gets back to that point. And it's really weird, and I feel like it's better if they actually set it up to where it's 2 a month. Because, actually, I don't even think it was like that back in the day. But it makes it better if they have 2 a month, because then you actually have feuds setting up at the right points and ending at the right points. Okay, so on to what I was saying about the choices for authority in Universe Mode. Adding people like Eric Bischoff, Teddy Long, Jonathan Coachman, MVP, Rey Mysterio, Boogeyman, William Regal, and many others from Raw 25 in the game in some way. Now, obviously, Boogeyman, Rey Mysterio, MVP, and William Regal, to that extent, could all be put in as wrestlers, while Teddy Long, Jonathan Coachman, Eric Bischoff could be put in as authority figures for the option of your universe mode, whatever the fuck you want to do with them. I think it'd be a fantastic idea because it shows that the landscape of the WWE is ever-changing. Plus, it means I could actually have Eric Bischoff as my fucking GM, and let me tell you right here, Eric Bischoff is always my GM on Universe Mode. He will always be my GM on Universe Mode. Also, really quick, I want to talk about the multi-topic video I did the other day. I realized that the voice AJ Styles impersonator was not Randy Savage. I realized that was Hulk Hogan now. For some reason, I was thinking it was Randy Savage. My brain kind of just forgot about Hulk Hogan for a bit in WWE. So I'm sorry about that one. I know my wrestling knowledge is bad sometimes. But I realized, I was like, oh fuck, that was Hulk Hogan, not Randy Savage. She said that when I watched the video today. So yeah. It added in a lot of things with the people that we miss from back in the day. Especially MVP. Seeing him was fantastic, and I would love for him to sign with WWE again. You know, he popped up on Raw for the 25th anniversary and was like, what, MVP's here? Now, he didn't do much. He basically was just in the backstage poker game, but still, it was fantastic to see MVP in the WWE again. Plus, Rey Mysterio is in talks currently with the WWE about coming back, as well as Batista. APA version of JBL, as well as Ron Simmons, and the Acolyte version. Now, if you don't know what the APA is, go watch most of the Invasion angle. If you don't know what the Acolytes are, go watch the corporate ministry stuff, and you'll understand what they are. Basically, it was JBL and Ron Simmons, the guy who goes damn all the time, which would be awesome to have him actually in this game, because he was severely lacking this game for some freaking reason, and it bugged the hell out of me. I was like, why the fuck do you not have Ron Simmons in this goddamn game? Like, seriously, Ron Simmons is the fucking best. So yeah, I was really upset about that. Also, JBL isn't JBL. He's Bradshaw in the Acolytes and the APA, which I like a lot better than JBL. I don't like JBL, but I like Bradshaw. You see my conundrum. Nation of Domination, Edge and Christian, Brothers of Destruction, Rock and Stock Connection, and The Shield, and with that, the APA and the Acolytes, to be formal tags from day one. And if you don't know what I mean by a formal tag, I mean a tag team that is existing in the game currently. So Nation of Domination with Farouk, The Rock, different version of The Rock, obviously, Mark Henry, and The Godfather. I can't remember what his name was during that for some reason. I can't remember his name during the Nation of Domination. I don't know why. Kama Mustafa. That was his name. It'd be fantastic because the Nation of Domination is a fantastic tag team. I'm not going to say they're not. But having them back would be awesome, and having a version of them in this game would be really awesome. Even more to an extent of that, NWO actually being a tag team thing in here, maybe the Wolfpack version, if you can get enough people, obviously, for it. And Randy Savage having an NWO design in his thing, as well as Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels is going to have an NWO version as well, because he was in the NWO at one point. Actually giving Nash and Hall the NWO black and white instead of the red and black that they're wearing in most of these games. Universe Mode storyline creator, as well as some more match editing options and some custom promos. If you don't know what I mean by this, again, going back to SmackDown vs. Raw, you could kind of set your storylines up in a way you want them. Now, the way I mean this is, let's say you want Aleister Black to jump, or Cody Rhodes to jump Aleister Black backstage. Let's say you have a creative version of Cody Rhodes and you want that to happen, which is currently what's going on in my universe mode. Cody Rhodes, my current Intercontinental Champion, heading into Backlash, heard a rumor that Aleister Black may be in the Intercontinental Championship Elimination Chamber next month. So he decided to take things into his own hands, tagged Aleister Black backstage, but it didn't work. Aleister Black is still in the match, and it'd be cool to have that set up as a storyline. Like, okay, Cody Rhodes goes and jumps Aleister Black. Aleister Black gets found by GM Eric Bischoff. Eric Bischoff says, Cody, I know what your little pansy attack was trying to do, but guess what? It's just further shown how scared you are of Aleister Black. He will be in that match whether you like it or not, and I think that would be a fantastic way to set up a storyline. Continuing on with the more match editing options, let's say you have a heel champion. I've done this many times with different champions. So is Jesse. Where you want him to keep the title at all costs, so you hit the guy with the chair to get disqualified, which means you do have a rematch against that guy, but you get to hold on to your championship. However, what I'm saying with this is have the option to say, if this person is DQ'd, the championship changes hands. Hand to God, I hate the fact that I cannot do this in WWE 2K18 because it sets up so beautifully for storylines like, okay, he's got to be careful with what he does. He has no way of sneaking out of this. Currently, Edge is my champion. I would love to be able to attack Seth Rollins because Seth Rollins is the former champion who held the championship for a fucking astonishingly long time. He was my champion basically since 2K16 till now, and then lost the pay-per-view before Backlash, which I can't remember what pay-per-view it was, because my computer's got all that shit, and my computer's broken still. So I think that would be kind of cool, is Edge attacks him with a chair, they send into, Seth gets injured, decides to wait off, and then the month after, that'd be Survivor Series. The month after Survivor Series, which I think is TLC for me, he comes back with a vengeance saying, I want my match, and Eric Bischoff goes, by the way, Edge, if you get disqualified, the title goes back to Seth. I would love that, but no, you can't. And custom promos. The ability to type out a fucking promo for somebody so they say exactly what you goddamn want. For the simple reason of, and I know you guys are probably like, why would you want that? That's so boring. You have to type so much shit. Because the promos feel more from the heart. The best thing about a wrestling promo is the fact that you know that in that person's heart, they fully mean what they're saying. Even if it was written by somebody backstage, typically promos, especially from people like The Rock, Stone Cold, and people along those lines, typically have a lot of sway with how their promo is going to go. So what they do is they write that promo, and they write it from the heart, and when they go out there, you can hear the passion in their voices. Chris Jericho is the exact same way. The Miz is the exact same way. John Cena is the exact same way. For anyone who doubts his promo skills, he's the exact same way. And you hear the passion in their voices when they're talking, and that's what I want. I want to be able to create a perfect promo and not just read a line and be like, okay, is this the one I want, or is this... It's so boring. It's the same thing Fallout 4 and Skyrim do when you have a dialogue option. It's very generic, and you have to choose by a minimal amount of words, and I hate it so fucking much. It is annoying. But custom promos will change that. Universe mode, you go in, you have Seth Rollins. Let's say Seth Rollins is your United States champion. He calls out John Cena, saying, John, I'm a better United States champion than you have ever been, will ever be, and you are never getting this title back. Let's say John Cena was the former title holder that Seth Rollins beat. John Cena comes out and speaks from the heart, and so does Seth. And that'd be cool. You can conduct an entire promo by yourself from scratch. And you can do it perfectly as you want to. And I know I sound really passionate about this. It's because I'm always passionate when it comes to wrestling things. Because I'm just that way. Next, because I'm rambling on about the promos. More NXT stars, such as Heavy Machinery. I know they just signed. Calm down. I know. They just signed with WWE, basically. I forgot about that, and I kind of already put them on the list, and I didn't feel like removing them. I was going to say King Ricochet, and then I remembered he just also signed with the WWE, so it wouldn't really make much sense. Kairi Sane won the goddamn inaugural Mae Young Classic before the game came out, mind you. Before the game came out. They could have had time to add her to the DLC, to scan her and do all of that and add her to the DLC, but they didn't. I was like, okay. Don't I Kairi Sane? I see how it is. I see how it is. I'll just download the version of Kairi Sane. I was very upset. Like, I wanted Kairi Sane so bad. Next, the Undisputed Era, because Adam Cole, baby, and to a lesser extent, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, baby. But no, the Undisputed Era would be fantastic in this game. The work they've done as a tag team on NXT has been awesome, and I really hope they're in 2K19, because if they're not, I'm going to be sorely, sorely, sorely disappointed in you, 2K. Next, Pete Dunne, Tyler Bate, Oney Larkin, and basically anybody else from the UK Championship tournament, because they should have been in this fucking game in the first place. That happened a while ago, and they could have had the opportunity to put a bunch of them in, because a lot of them still are working with the WWE. But no. I know technically they're not under contract with WWE, and it would make it a bit of an issue. Obviously, Pete Dunne just wrestled against Austin Aries, who's the Impact Champion, very recently, which is very awkward, in my opinion. Austin Aries still talking about his package with Corey Graves, by the way, guys. Don't worry. But it would be fantastic to be able to play as them, because creative versions just do not do them justice. First off, you don't get to hear their music, because you can't put music into the game. You can't do song uploader anymore in this game, which means you can't upload their theme songs, so you can actually use them in the game like you could in 2K17. Secondly, you can't have their finisher names be said, like the bitter end and stuff like that. You can't have that be said, and that bugs me. I would really love for the UK people to actually be in this game, because they're fantastic. They're all fantastic wrestlers, and they all deserve to be in this game. Blake and Murphy return. Now, I know a lot of people probably don't like Blake and Murphy. I'm not too fond of them myself, but everyone needs a good jobber tag team, and that's basically all they'd probably be used for most people's universe modes. But the fact of the matter is that they were in 2K17. No, wait. Yeah, I think. Actually, no, wait. Were they in 2K17? Yeah, they were in 2K17, if I remember correctly. And then they were, for some reason, absent from this game. I don't know why. It's not like they got fired. They're still with the company. You can look it up. They're still with the company. Unless, I mean, they could have just not wanted to be in the game. That's always a possibility. But, like, they seem like a fantastic tag team if you give them the shot. But, yeah, I feel like they should have been in this game in 2K18. It kind of sucks that they weren't, because they were a fun tag team to put in matches, you know, but you never really got anywhere with them, which sucked. But, you know, whatever. Leo Rush. I don't think he's been with the company very long, but still, by the time 2K19 rolls around, he'll probably be in this game. Even if he's not in the actual game, he'll probably be DLC. Velveteen Dream. Again, I know this was kind of a late guy. He came in... Oh, did he come in that late? I don't remember him coming in too late. I remember him coming around... I feel like I remember him coming in around WrestleMania time, so he probably could have been put into the DLC, but he wasn't, which kind of sucked. I didn't really think I was going to like Velveteen Dream when I first saw him. Like, I was like, this guy's just going to be a Goldust ripoff, and I'm not going to like him very much. I was sorely, sorely mistaken. He's very charismatic and very funny to watch. And he's actually very talented in the ring. Especially if you go watch NXT War Games, watch his match with Aleister Black. It was top notch. And I just love to recreate that with the actual Velveteen Dream instead of a created guy. I don't have room for created people. Anyway, Andrade Cien Almas. I know that he wanted to not be in this game, but like he wanted to not be in 2K18. But like, if he's not in 2K19 and he's still NXT champion, who the fuck are they putting the belt on? Like, that's a very good question. Because Andrade Cien Almas is the current NXT champion. And typically they like to have the current champions in the game, and they like to update it so it's actually the current champions for the game. But if Andrade is not in the game, because he chooses not to be in it, who are they putting it on? Unless Johnny Gargano wins Saturday. Who are they going to put it on? Again, this is far down the line, so by the time October-ish rolls around, but again, WrestleMania-ish, Royal Rumble to WrestleMania is typically when they start announcing things for 2K for the next game. But by the time that it rolls around, he could not even be the champion, so who knows. But typically they have it about right around where WrestleMania is at. So whoever's NXT champion around WrestleMania, if they're not in the game, it's going to be kind of weird, because especially if it's Andrade Cien Almas. If he's not in the game, it's going to be kind of weird, because then they're going to have to put down somebody else like Drew McIntyre, Johnny Gargano, or somebody else along those lines. Zelina Vega, obviously, along with Andrade. because you can't have him without his manager. Shayna Baszler, Bianca Belair, and a bunch of other NXT talent. I don't want to go too far on the list with this because there's a lot of NXT talent that weren't in this game. Again, obviously, a lot of them probably won't be shown in the game. A lot of them that do mostly the live events, I think, should also be put in the game. Lars Sullivan, I never even heard of him until the DLC pack came out, and I watched him at NXT Takeover War Games. I was like, this dude's fucking scary. I was like, I fucking like this dude, but I don't have him. Jesse does, sadly, so I can't use him. The Women of Absolution and the Riott Squad. Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan, Sonya Deville, and Mandy Rose. Mainly because they should just be in this game. There's no point in saying they shouldn't be, because, come on, they should be. They're fantastic in the ring, and I think they do fantastic in the game. You can set up some fantastic matches between both the Riott Squad and Absolution, and in this game, unlike the real world, Paige can still wrestle, thank God. So, yeah. Ooh, another thing for Units Remote, retirement speeches. That'd be kind of cool. Let's say somebody takes a really bad injury and you want them to retire. That'd be kind of cool thing. More freaking Cruiserweights. Like, come on. There were so many Cruiserweights lacking in this game. They're like, oh, we're bringing the Cruiserweights to WWE 2K18. And I'm like, okay, that's awesome. That's sweet. I'm excited. Come to find out that it's like not even a handful of the Cruiserweights that are currently with the company. I was like, no Tony Nese, no Drew Gulak, no Arya Daivari, no Mustafa Ali. Like, you guys are thoroughly lacking in your Cruiserweights right now. No Lindsay Dorado. Like, what is wrong with you people? Give us more Cruiserweights. I enjoy watching Cruiserweights. I enjoy playing as Cruiserweights. I myself am a Cruiserweight. If you guys do not know, I only weigh about like 165, so I'm below the 205 limit. At least the last time I checked, I weighed like 165, so, which is very bad for me. I'm pretty sure I'm drastically underweight. I might not be, actually. I may be around where I'm supposed to be. For my height and build, I'm probably about what weight I should be. Multiple versions of Goldust. Now, if you don't know what I mean by this, Goldust is an ever-changing character, and I love it. But what I mean by this is Dustin Rhodes. The actual character of Dustin Rhodes. Again, he was in 2K16 or 2K17. One of those. Actually, was he in 2K17? I know he was in 2K16. He might not have been in 2K17. But having him back would be awesome, because then you have Dustin and Dusty being able to be a tag team again, which would be fantastic. Because I would have Dusty Rhodes and Dustin Rhodes win the Tag Team Classic, because why the fuck not? Dusty and Dustin would be fantastic to win the Dusty Rhodes Classic, don't you think? But yeah, I think it'd be fantastic if they decided to make a few different versions of him. Maybe make a version of him currently without the makeup, a version of his original makeup getup, a version with his current one, obviously a Dustin Rhodes version, because he's fantastic, and I don't think anybody can deny that. Goldust has had a fantastic fucking career. More than 2 attire slots, and said attires that you create to not take up a goddamn creative wrestler slot. If you guys watched my stream a few months, like about a month ago, move my chair back, sorry. About a month ago, I tried to make Edge and Christian manager attires because I have them as a tag team in my universe mode, and I wanted to be able to have Edge and or Christian have a manager attire for when they were managed the other. However, every time you make an alternate attire, it takes up another created wrestler slot, which again brings me to the point of there should be more than 2 attire slots, and they should not take up a created wrestler slot. There should be a separate thing for attires. Like, if you make a created wrestler and you make an attire, maybe I could get that. Nah, actually, I couldn't still. No, I couldn't still. But, like, creating a separate attire for somebody is something a lot of people fucking do. You want to be able to have their original attire just in case you don't want